Hi, this is Luke Larson from Code Green, and you are here today to go through a mini tutorial about creating a Flash animation. And we're going to go through some steps on how to create an animation like this that just takes the Flash logo and animates it across the screen. And we're also going to go through some of the tools and the interface of Flash to show you, what everything does. So to start off, let's create a new Flash document, and we'll choose ActionScript 3. From here, to go along with our example, we need to make our canvas size a little bit smaller. So if you go under Modify, let's just take that down to 200 height, and we'll make the frame rate 24. After we hit OK, so then we have a smaller window size here. The white area is your Flash piece. The gray area is just to give you some space, but it won't actually be part of your animation when we're done. So now there's a lot of tools and windows here on the main interface of Flash. Over here we have all of our kind of our buttons that let us enable to create images or create icons or shapes, and also how we can select those shapes. We can add type. For example, we can just add type in there. Then we can use the selector tool to move things around. I'll just hit delete to delete that. You can create all sorts of shapes, change their colors and everything, and then edit those shapes from there. But yeah, so it'd be handy just to familiarize yourself with all of these tools and how they enable you to draw things in Flash and to add text and just edit your Flash pieces. And then at the bottom we have what's kind of called the properties area. It shows you properties of any element in your Flash movie. So we see down here that the color is green. There's no outline. We can see the exact width and height and X and Y coordinates of this box. You can see the X and Y coordinates change as we move it around. We'll get into some of these other tools here in a later tutorial. But yeah, you can add filters and parameters and a whole lot of other things to each element in your Flash movie. But for now, just keep in mind that if you'd like to change anything on a Flash element, you can look first to the properties area. Right now I don't have anything selected, so it's the properties of my Flash file in general. You can see that that's the size that we chose earlier. You can edit that size by clicking that button. We can change the background to different colors by using this tool here. So yeah, it's very handy and familiarize yourself very well with that section. The last area that I'd like to talk about before we actually start creating our animation is the timeline up here. We can see right now there's nothing on our canvas, and we're on frame 1, and it kind of goes out infinitely to whatever you need to create your Flash animation. Down here at the bottom, it shows us what frame we're on, what the current frame rate is, and how many seconds we are into the Flash movie. So you can see as we create new elements or new areas in our timeline, we can see those change. So right now we're looking at frame 11, and we're 0.4 seconds into the animation. I will just undo that to get us back to a blank area. And then this last section over here is layers, and it kind of helps keep your Flash elements organized. So say we have a square on this layer, and we will draw a circle on this layer. It's an easy way to select those certain elements if you kind of keep your items straightened out in layers. Right now we're only going to have one element on our page, so we only need one layer. And I will go ahead and just delete that to start us off again with a fresh canvas. So now we've familiarized ourselves with the Flash interface. We're going to get into creating that animation that we saw at the beginning. I've got the Flash logo over here on my desktop, and I'm just going to drag it onto the Flash canvas, and it brings it in. And right now it's on our first layer. So to get it to animate across the page, we're going to use something that is called keyframes. So let's advance the movie out to frame 30, and if we right click on the frame and do insert keyframe, we see these two black dots. Those symbolize keyframes in our animation. And right now frame 1 and frame 30 keyframes are exactly the same, so we don't see any change in our animation. While you're on frame 30, I'm just using the arrow tools to move our logo over to the other side of the canvas. Now if we click back and forth between our keyframes, we see that the logo is in a different spot depending on which frame that we're on. You notice it doesn't move until it actually hits that keyframe. So what we'll do next is, so to speak, connect these two keyframes to get the animation to take place. So if I click on frame 30 and hold down Shift and click on frame 1, we grab all the frames in between. And then if I right click and do create motion tween, it will essentially connect those two frames together, and you can see it animates between those two. We can jump around within those linked keyframes to see where it is at any given point in the animation. Also, if you just put us at frame 1 and press return, you can see how it will animate on its own. And you can see it takes 2.5 seconds to go the entire animation. Now keyframes, remember those because they're very handy. You can edit the animation anytime in between. Say I right click on frame 15 and we add another keyframe. Right now it looks just the same because I haven't edited the placement of our logo. But if I click on frame 15 and move the logo down, it will automatically take into account where it's moved, and now it will move to the new keyframe location and then to the one we had before. And then once again we can see that just by pressing enter. So this is just some very basic ways of using keyframes and to animate Flash elements across a page. In the next section we will talk about how you can save this out to use it somewhere on the web or wherever you choose, and we'll add some other little features to our animation, some fading and some other things. Anyways, thank you, and we'll see you for the next section.